Welcome to EBN, time of reflection, renewal, and rejoicing for Christians worldwide as we commemorate the resurrection of Jesus Christ. It's a time to remember the ultimate sacrifice made on the cross and the hope and redemption it brings to humanity. Join us as we delve into the timeless message of love, forgiveness, and eternal life that lies at the heart of Easter. From solemn services to joyful gatherings, let's embrace the true spirit of Easter together. Thank you for choosing EBN TV tonight. Let's get started with stories making headlines. Christian faithfuls celebrate Good Friday holiday in places of worship ahead of a long weekend. Clergy pleads for talks between government and doctors' union, says Kenyans are suffering. Haiti gang leader warns Kenyan troops should not set foot in Haiti, says they will be treated as aggressors. Welcome to the broadcast. It is good to have you on this Good Friday edition of EBN Weekend. I'm Cynthia Nanjala. Let's get started. Now, the chairperson of the Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops, Archbishop Martin Kivuva, has called on government officials to distance themselves from corruption practices, warning that rampant corruption will erode citizens' confidence in the state's ability to manage finances responsibly, resulting to them failing to pay taxes, thus exacerbating already precarious economic situation. He spoke at the Holy Ghost Cathedral in Mombasa while commemorating Good Friday, and Kivuva urged the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission EACC to intensify its efforts in curbing the wave of corruption that continues to thrive within the country.
Sababu moja katika hali hizi za ufisadi ni kwamba kila mtu anatamani kupata kitu bila kufanya kazi, na tunawajibika kwamba wewe au mimi ni jaribu kujiepusha kabisa, kwa sababu giza ya hali ya ufisadi itatufanya watu wakate tamaa hata kutoa kodi, kwa sababu akitoa kodi na najua zinaenda kupotea mahala ambapo sijui ni wapi, itaonekana kwamba watu wataanza tabia ambayo ni ya kukwepa kodi, kukwepa mambo ambayo ni wajibu wao, na italeta kazi ambayo ni ngumu sana. The challenge we see in other countries, kwa mfano mambo ambayo tunayaona katika nchi nyingi ambazo zina vita sasa, zinasozana sasa, mahala pengi unakuta inaanzia ni uchumi, ni ufisadi, uongozi unaanza kudondoa kidogo kidogo mali za umma na zinazifanya zao za binafsi. Haya yatuturudisha nyuma. Kila nyanja inalia, kila nyanja inalia. So wanaohusika, na sote tunahusika, tusiseme kina fulani ni wafisadi. Anza na wewe. Are you upright katika utumishi wako? Am I upright katika utumishi wangu? Mimi ni mkweli katika utumishi wangu? Na kila mtu akichukua nafasi ya kusema jamani, let's change our ways. Manake tunaendelea kutumbukia katika madeni mazito na kukopa hela za nje, madeni mazito katika kutumia katika nyanja zote za utumishi wa umma.
Spouse of the Deputy President, Pastor Dorcas Rigathi, has urged Kenyans to celebrate the Easter holidays responsibly and spare time for their families. In her Easter message, Pastor Dorcas said Easter celebrations are a good time for families to be together.
This is going to be a time of celebration. But before I can even touch about celebration, I would like to wish you a happy Easter. And so today, as you go to celebrate, know that in celebration, you must remember those who may be feeling rejected. Jesus was rejected. Go to the widows, go to the orphans, go to the people living with disabilities. Just give them a time where they can be able to celebrate. I also wish that as you are going to every destination to celebrate your Easter, make sure that you are responsible.
Now, as Christians all over the world celebrate Easter holiday, it is a time of great spiritual significance, and there's need for everyone to understand the true meaning of Easter. Our reporter, Dr. Nganyi, goes deeper into this subject, bringing out exactly what Easter means and the biblical events that surround it.
It is yet another time in the year to celebrate Easter, the holy day that marks the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. Easter is deemed a time of solemn importance and is the reason and the very basis on which Christianity stands. Easter itself was adopted as a Christian holiday when early Christians who did not celebrate Jewish festivals eventually merged their ceremonies with pagan spring festival in order to recognize Easter as the resurrection day. Easter season normally begins with Ash Wednesday, which is marked by Catholic faithful worldwide through being put on a sign of the cross on the forehead using ashes. Ash Wednesday is the first day of the Lent season, which follows it. Lent is a 40-day period, a time of deep introspection and fasting apart from Sundays. The Lent period is 40 days, which is a number of biblical significance, given that Moses, Elijah, and Jesus all fasted for 40 days. Towards the end of the Lent season, on the last Sunday before Crucifixion Week, is Palm Sunday, which is a commemoration of Jesus' triumphant entry into Jerusalem when he rode on a colt as people laid branches on which he passed over. Immediately after Lent is Good Friday, whose significance stems from the belief that Jesus Christ was crucified, died, and was buried on Friday. The word good in Good Friday originates from an Old English expression meaning holy. After this is Saturday, which is then followed by Resurrection Sunday, which is when Jesus Christ rose from the dead, triumphant over sin, death, hell, and the grave. The Easter season then ends with Easter Monday, which is celebrated to remember the time after Christ's resurrection, when he stayed on earth and appeared to his disciples and 500 others before ascending to heaven. The real meaning of Easter is to commemorate the mocking crucifixion, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ and how it brought salvation to all men who would believe in him. For Christians, it is also a time to embrace the cross by being conscious of how we live at whatever point in time and whether we are representing Jesus Christ to the fullest. As Christians, let's not just relax and celebrate like everyone else, but rather let's win souls and reflect on how we are living our lives. Dr. Nganyi, reporting for EBN TV.
Thank you, Nganyi, for that report. Now, the Director of Support Services from the National Transport and Safety Authority, NTSA, Jacob Sisei, has called on Kenyans to be more careful and vigilant on the roads during this season of Easter. And Sisei has appealed to road users and drivers to take care of their passengers by completely observing the traffic laws to reduce accidents and more disasters to occur this period. Sisei added that NTSA will make sure that all laws of the roads are observed.
Nataka nitoe wito kwa Wakenya wenzangu ya kwamba tunapoingia katika msimu huu wa Pasaka tuweze kuangazia mambo ya usalama barabarani. Sisi tunaendesha campaign ya mambo masita currently ya kwamba unapokuwa kule barabarani tuzingatie mambo ya speed, tusiendeshe magari zetu kwa kasi na tujali wale wanatumia barabara ile. Tuache mambo ya kukunywa ama drink driving. Tuache mambo ya kuendesha gari kama umechoka ama driver fatigue. Tuzingatie mambo ya lane discipline. Tuzingatie mambo ya road signs. Na tuweze kushirikiana pamoja ili tunapotumia barabara ile, ikiwa unaendesha gari, ikiwa unatembea kwa miguu ama unatumia hata pikipiki, tuweze kujali Wakenya wenzetu. Hiyo ni mambo ya drive ya Easter ambayo currently tunatekeleza, na tuweze kuensure ya kwamba tunazingatia yale mambo yote
As Christians across the world mark Good Friday and the Easter holiday, a section of civil society groups held procession in Kisumu in remembrance of Kenyan suffering in the hands of the government of the day. They likened Kenyan sufferings to that of Jesus and what he went through during his crucifixion. Led by Apio, the chairperson of the civil society Nyanza region, they have condemned the Kenya Kwanza government for hurting the citizens through heavy taxation. They further criticized Ruto's government for enacting housing levy, which they termed insensitive and adding more salt to the injury.
Council city manager hakikisha sports ground imekuwa restored. Culture, we see corruption in the distribution of fertilizer to the extent that our leaders are leading in supplying of fake fertilizers. They know where the fertilizer is coming from. Nothing can happen in this country of that magnitude that will fail the eye of state agencies, and therefore the state officials who lack integrity that we are preaching today, integrity, 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 that honesty, that simplicity and modesty in our leaders is lacking, that they have failed to address the issues of doctors.
We are talking about land grabbing, which has happened all over Kenya. So we are requesting the necessary department concerned. We are saying that let us stop land grabbing with any other means, and if not possible, we'll see other action to take. On health, we are requesting the government, let us handle our doctors, our professionals, our service providers in a manner that they can give back to the community.
Now, the National Council of Churches of Kenya in Kirinyaga has pledged with the national government to speed up the transition from the National Health Insurance Fund to the Social Health Insurance Fund. The secretary of the Kirinyaga County Coordinating Committee, Liza Gota, said as a result, many patients are suffering greatly as health facilities quietly decline to treat them based on the NHIF. The committee called upon the government to speed up the transition and to especially undertake widespread civic education on the same. While speaking at the Kenya Assemblies of God after a delegates conference in Kerugoya, they said it is important to watch images of sick remaining unattended in public healthcare facilities due to the ongoing doctors' strike, and called upon all county governments across the country to hold meaningful dialogue with doctors and other medics to resolve the emerging crisis.
Resolve health crisis speedily. We are concerned that the country is going through a serious health crisis. The transition from the National Health Insurance Fund to the Social Health Insurance Fund is extremely slow and not well understood. As a result, many patients are suffering greatly as health facilities quietly decline to treat them based on the NHIF. We call upon the government to speed up the transition and to especially undertake widespread civic education on the same. We are saddened by images of the sick remaining unattended in public health care facilities due to the ongoing doctors' strike. We call upon all county governments across the country to hold meaningful dialogue with the doctors and other medics to resolve the emerging crisis due to strikes. Educate people on the NADCO report. We have reviewed the report by the National Dialogue Committee, NADCO, that was presented and passed by the Parliament. We are aware that the focus has now shifted to implementation through the formulation of laws and policies. There is, however, a major concern that most Kenyans are not aware of the proposals made in the NADCO report or the implications when these are implemented. We call upon the National Assembly to put in place a national-wide civic education program so that Kenyans are aware of the measures that are being implemented.
The Presidential Advisor on Women's Rights, Harriet Chigai, has affirmed the government's commitment to end the triple threat of new HIV infections, adolescent pregnancies, and the sexual and gender-based violence among young people. While speaking at the closing ceremony of the 5th Women in Human Resource Convention in Mombasa, Chigai called on sustained multi-sectoral collaboration to step up efforts to end HIV as a public health threat and all forms of SGBV. The National Syndemic Disease Control Council estimates that 98 new HIV infections occur weekly among adolescents aged between 10 to 19 years. Every single day, the presidential advisor revealed that 256 girls get pregnant. And since they cannot deliver naturally, the government spends up to 6.1 billion shillings to cater for cesarean births.
The president pronounced himself on matters FGM, which is very important for this country. It has never happened. He's the biggest champion for women. And you realize for us to end matters to do with FGM, the society has to participate. The rural women must say we must end FGM because it's a bad cultural practice. The men must also say we are supporting our women and girls. We must end FGM because if you look at FGM, what is it really? It's a selfish space for sexual pleasure where women are curtailed in a small box and the men are the ones who have the right for the day. So there's a lot. The fact that the president pronounced himself on that, it means everybody else must toe the line. We can also realize that these issues is economic empowerment and investments. You have seen within the bottom-up economic agenda, MSMEs, it's women. It's women who are at the bottom of the pyramid, 100%. And you'll find women, in terms of numbers, we are talking about 65% of women are either in agriculture, they are either the ones who are caregivers at home. So how do we accelerate and make women economically empowered and to put them in the investment portal? Various interventions that the government is doing. Number one, you saw the matters to do with sanitary towels. The government has taken it up and it's saying it's going to give sanitary towels to young girls. That already has given dignity to the young girl. And it has made the young girl now stay in school because when you go to the rural setup, that is where we have a big challenge. On matters economic empowerment, we have the funds. We have Women Enterprise Fund, we have the Hustler Fund, we have the Social Fund and ANGAF, where women reps are the ones who are managing that fund. So what the government is doing, the government is saying we have laid the foundation. Let Kenyans now get the knowledge where to tap, where to find resources. And for the women, we are advocating for women to start up their starter kits with less burden when it comes to credit.
A section of stakeholders in Kilifi County have embarked on mangrove restoration conservation programs along the Mida Creek areas of Kilifi County. Equity Bank has partnered with the Kenya Defence Forces and the conservation groups from the Dabaso Sita community and planted over 100,000 mangroves at the creek that harbors thousands of sea species and a variety of indigenous mangrove trees. While at the event, Equity Bank Special Programs Officer Princess Mwakio said that they have partnered with 150 soldiers from the Kenya Army, drawn from Mariakani Barracks and the community, and their aim is to plant over 30 million trees at the Dabaso, Mida and Uyombo Creek.
Today we are privileged to accompany the locals here at Sita, together with the Equity Bank and other stakeholders for this restoration, a very noble exercise. And under our program, Environmental Soldier Program, we are very much privileged to be here today. And we are planning to at least 100,000 trees today.
Today, we are able to plant 100,000 trees. That is only for today. So in coordination with the KFS, also the KDF, who are also here. In 2024, we are committed to plant, that is 30 million trees. That is in 2024. And this is in support with the government initiative that the government of Kenya would want to increase the forest cover by 30%. That is an increment of 30% by the year 2027. So in coordination with the Kenya Forest, we are able to identify areas that need urgent forest cover, and the Kenya Forest staff are also in partnership with us in enabling us to identify the species that that they're correct species that are to be planted in specific areas.
Tumeshirikiana na ndugu zangu, mama na dada zetu kwa kupanda hii mikoko, kwa sababu hii mikoko ni faida kwetu. Kitambo tulikuwa tunapata samaki wengi, sasa hii samaki wamekuwa ni kidogo, samaki wamepungua kwa sababu ya kwa watu wanaharibu mikoko, wanaikata na kutengeza mambo yao mengine. Kwa leo tumeamua tushikane mabega kwa mabega ili tuone hii miti tunaweza kuhifadhi tena na ili iweze kumea.
Have the Kenya Defence Forces from the Miezeni camp, which has partnered with the Equity Bank and Greens of Africa and the Sita community to do another 100,000 today. You know, they lay their eggs, and so we need to see this rehabilitation going on, and we are committed. And I'm happy that the Equity Bank has agreed to partner with us so that we can continue with this activity.
The Kenya Women Teachers Association, KEWOTA, has denied claims that it was a rival to the trade unions that represent teachers in the country, the Kenya National Union of Teachers and the Kenya, that is KUPPET. Pardon me, I'll take that again. Now, the Kenya National Union of Teachers and KUPPET National Chairperson, Mrs. Modesta Lubulela Akaki, says that contrary to the claims, her association is purely a welfare association that takes care of serving and retired teachers and does not indulge in labor-related issues. She added, therefore, that both KEWOPA, the Kenya National Union of Teachers, and the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers, KUPPET, enjoy a very cordial relationship. She spoke at Bur Lolwa village in Bondo sub-county during the launch of a water tank distribution program for its members in Siaya County.
KEWOTA is an association. KNUT is a trade union. Surprisingly, the founders of KEWOTA, we were all in NAT. I represented Westland for a long time. I was in the National Executive Council. We have no relationship or fight with NAT and KEWOTA except that we both represent teachers. As simple as that. But you know, if you have been having this position of being the owner, that NAT and KUPPET were the only unions there, when they felt the new child on the block come about, they got scared. But as I talk today, we have a very good working relationship with our unions, because KEWOTA will not go and represent you in a problem that needs a trade union to address. Just like NAT will not come and stand in for a welfare problem with KEWOTA. So let's differentiate the two. One is a union, one is an association. We stand for the same thing, that we represent the Kenyan teachers. Because if a labor case comes, I will not go to court, I will not go to the labor court to represent the teacher, but the union will go. And when this teacher needs a thing like our water tanks, a welfare issue, KEWOTA comes in. And you know, the things that worry people is the things KEWOTA is doing look a bit very favorable. What NAT does, nobody knows when they've represented you in the labor court, but ours are visible. So that is the difference. KEWOTA is the only association that has adhered to the constitution that says in any organization, 1/3 must be of either gender. So we are proud of that.
The County Governor of Bungoma County, Kenneth Lusaka, has admitted that there are challenges in the questions of tax collection within the county, which he says has contributed to the slowness in the implementation of development projects. Speaking after receiving the report of the social organizations that highlighted the issue of tax collection, Governor Lusaka has asked that the solution is to make the exercise digital, saying it will close loops of wasting money, and also says the officials related deserve to be accountable. The chairperson of the organizations, Ezekiel Odeo, has said they have provided recommendations in the report to to help the county government collect 2 billion shillings in taxes, saying it will help achieve development. However, they have asked the county government to implement the report, with the governor promising to lead the implementation.
And like I've gone to counties, I went to Nairobi County, I've been to Murang'a. Actually, the governor can monitor everything on his phone.
It's true.
That is where we want to go. That even when I'm in Mapera, when I'm in London, I can be able to tell that there are vehicles that have parked in Bungoma.
It's true.
And there are 10 vehicles and revenue is being generated. Yes. I can be able to tell real time that licenses are being paid. And you can sit there and see the stream, the happenings. The money is just being collected. At the end of the day, we are able to know. So this is something that we are all determined on. Source revenue is what is going to save us. Because this shareable revenue, you have seen the challenges. As we speak now, yesterday is when the allocation, the disbursement for January came in. We are at the tail end of March. So if we had not if we had not made arrangements with the banks, we would not have even paid salaries. This place would not be governable. People will be all running all over. We will not be doing anything. So we really need to enhance our revenue. And when you look at the Bungoma County, it's one of the richest counties in the Republic. We want this, but when the share of revenue comes, we are getting 944 million from Nairobi. Salary is how much? 483. We remain with?
And the cash is at 51.
And the
cash is at 51 million.
Cash is 51 million. So the money is reducing. It looks big on paper, but now when you sit down to calculate, we remain with only about 250. Yes, we want roads once. We have pending bills. Health is there. They are saying we want to buy drugs. Before you do, people are saying they want lights, fertilizer. We want seeds. Now whom do you give?
Katika hiyo ripoti nimegundua kwamba tuko na changamoto katika ukusanyaji wa ushuru. Mojawapo ya changamoto kubwa ni kwamba ile machine, the automated machine ama system ya kukusanya ushuru iko na shida, na ni kwamba iko managed na mtu ambaye siye mfanyakazi wa serikali, iko managed na kampuni ya nje. So hiyo inapeana pengo kubwa sana katika uwajibikaji wa ukusanyaji wa ushuru. Na kama mashirika tumeweza kurecommend kwamba hiyo revenue automation system iwe audited.
Now, auditions for this year's Fish Fiesta celebrations in Kisumu County has kicked off, with the organizers banking on the event to promote tourism, create business opportunities and foster cultural exchange. The exercise, to be conducted in all the 8 sub-counties, has attracted contestants in boat racing, bodybuilding, traditional wrestling, beauty competition and traditional art, among others. The Kisumu Deputy Governor Matthew Owili said the auditions, which kick off at Nyangoma Hall in Muhoroni County on Saturday, will showcase talent and the rich Luo cultural heritage ahead of the main event slated for April 25th to 27th at the Jomo Kenyatta Sports Grounds. Contestants will audition for Mr. and Miss Tourism, Mr. and Miss Flex, and Mr. and Miss Strong, traditional Luo wrestling and traditional art.
Rich history, natural beauty, and warm hospitality. As we gather here today, I urge all stakeholders, including government agencies, private sector players, civil society organizations, and the local community to join hands in making the Fish Fiesta 2024 a resounding success. Together, we can leverage on the unique flavors of the lake to promote tourism, create employment opportunities, and to ensure long-term sustainability of our natural resources. Let us embrace the opportunity to showcase the best of Kisumu, celebrate our cultural diversity, and pave the way for a prosperous future driven by fishing tourism and sustainable development. Pride and talent showcase. The department will carry out auditions in all the 8 sub-counties in Kisumu County, and I name them: Muhoroni, Nyakach, Nyando, Kadibo, Kisumu West, Seme, Kisumu East, and Kisumu Central.
Well, quite the festival, interesting one. We'll see how it goes through this weekend. Now, something else concerning Haitian gang leader Jimmy Chirizia alias Barbecue has sent a stern warning to Kenya and any external forces planning on making a security deployment to the war-torn Caribbean nation. Barbecue maintains that the 1,000 police officers Kenya intends to send on a peace-restoring mission in Haiti will be met with fierce aggression by the gangs, since they will be perceived as quote-unquote invaders who possess a threat to the lives of innocent Haitians. The gang leader further claimed that the peacekeeping troops would catalyze the already existing conflict, since they do not understand the context of the rivalry in Haiti, therefore resulting in a massacre which would also involve innocent people.
Si Kenya yo vini, premièrement, yo va venir faire massacre dans quartier populaire parce que oligarques yo avec politiciens yo pour orienter yo vers quartier populaire sous prétexte que y a vinn décider tirer bandits, sous prétexte que y a vinn décider tirer gang, yo pral entrer dans quartier populaire et que pour venir faire massacre. À ce moment-là, nous même qui gen zam nous ne pas quitter ça. Mais je dis à gon bagay qui ont ti classe évolué. Je dis depuis militaire kenyan yo entré ou bien policier kenyan yo whatever, l'autre policier qui entré, nous avons considéré comme des agresseurs. Nous avons considéré comme des envahisseurs. Et je dis à nous pas collaborer avec aucun envahisseur, aucun agresseur qui vient sortir pour passer indépendance pays nous en bas pied. Nous avons goûté continuer de n'importe façon.
Tens of rally lovers had fun and they enjoyed the first stage of the WRC, which attracted tens in Kedong Ranch in Naivasha town. Despite the harsh economic times, the revelers, mainly from Uganda, made merry as the event marked day one under tight security.
Tunaulizwa na officers wa our licensing every time wanapita wanatuuliza licenses, so lazima tu wapatie license, because getting in here, it's not that it's just an open ground. Kuna hizo rules zao na kuna kuangaliwa when you're checking in. So I thank God that I managed to be amongst those wenye waliruhusiwa kuingia, and iko na psyche yake, lakini vibe sana. Unajua safari rally, it's all about party.
Most of them have benchmarked with Kenya, because we know Kenya is the one that brings the first good cars, they have the best routes, they have the best safety. So, and I want to call upon all Kenyans to come and witness the Pearl of Africa Ugandan Rally.
Now, Xabi Alonso has confirmed he will remain as Bayer Leverkusen head coach next season, ending speculation he could succeed Jurgen Klopp as Liverpool manager this summer. Alonso had been touted by many as a replacement for Klopp, who is leaving Anfield at the end of the season, though the Reds were already not expected to include their former midfielder on their short list of possible successors. Bayern, meanwhile, were also understood to be keen to appoint their former player as a replacement for the departing Thomas Tuchel. Well, allow me to wrap it up at that point. I hope that you're really up to date with what is making headlines across the country. I hope that you've had a fantastic Good Friday. A long weekend, they say, till Monday. So keep safe, keep warm. Till tomorrow, same time, same place. I'm Cynthia Nanjala. Have yourselves a wonderful night.